Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this evening's DYOR podcast show. And I'm fortunate enough to have Louis and Samuel for this episode. And today we'll just talk about social file and their startup, which is Maringo. So um, maybe Louis should start by introducing yourself, then Samuel will follow. Then we kick off this show.
Yes. Okay. So nice to meet you. My name is Louis. Thanks for having me once again on your podcast. I think it's always an honor. So my name is Louis Akatenga. I'm the founder and CEO of Maringo. And yeah, I'll let someone introduce himself.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, good evening once again. My name is Samuel. Actually a crypto trader and also on the marketing head at Maringo. Also the one leading the community here in Maringo. Thank you so much for having us on this podcast this evening.
Yeah, I'm also honored to always host amazing guests. And perhaps also, my name is Francis. I'm also a very enthusiastic person in the world of Web3, blockchain, and all these amazing technologies that's happening. So my enthusiasm is what kind of drove me to start this podcast, Web3 podcast show, to just share with the world about whatever is going on. And how I usually do this is by inviting fellow people in the space who are doing something, and then we can just have a friendly conversation to speak. Like for instance, today we just want to speak about social fi, and then we'll speak about your startups and whatever you guys are doing in the blockchain. So um, maybe Louis, you should tell us about something about how you got into this Web3 space, and then Samuel will also share something a bit about it.
Yes. Okay. So on my end, actually, my journey with Web3 started quite a whiles away. So there's two kinds of parts that kind of came together, and then logically, I think off the birth of that was kind of what stemmed, the foundation or the basis, inspiration for this project. The first being, I think if we can rewind back to maybe about 2013, I recently did a post actually about it. I was kind of taken to like this seminar by my dad, and it was quite early. I think this was probably when I was around 13 or 14. Um, and I heard loads of like really like inspirational, motivational speakers speak. So the likes of Robert Kiyosaki was there. This was back when I was, I think, in South Africa. So we just recently moved to South Africa at the time. So there was this big National Achievers Congress back then. So it was loads of different speakers talking about everything from personal development, financial independence, like investment, entrepreneurship, the whole lot of it. So I came out of that actually, and that kind of inspired me to really, I started to identify this whole idea of like this digital, like unlocking the digital, unlocking this digital space as a means to make revenue. And I saw the potential that was kind of within that. I was always a little bit of a techie, but not really seeing it from a perspective of like, how can I utilize this? 14-year-olds are not really thinking, back then at least, we're not really thinking, okay, how can I make money? But I think that was kind of birth of that inspired me to really start thinking about getting into the development side of things. So that was kind of when I started my journey into like kind of web development, seeing how kind of systems work, the whole lot of computer science. But it wasn't up until so that kind of was on and off, as life was going on. I was writing my A levels, I think. Then I switched to I think GCSEs at the time. So it was really on and off. I wouldn't really say I spec very much into that. Up until I think about 2000 and I want to say 2016, 2017, just when I had finished my high school. I had moved to the UK for the first time, and I was introduced to kind of like trading, so like forex trading. So obviously having that technical background and kind of like playing around with different websites, programming at the time, I was thrown kind of into the finance side of things. And so I went on like a whole exploration, a journey into like learning and development from the finance side of things. So I did some certifications as well, wanted to do like wealth and investment management for some time. played around with the forex market, made some money, lost some money, and that kind of went on for some time up until about 2020. By the way, stop me if I'm going on too long. I have a tendency to do so. So that kind of went on until I think about 2019. So right before, so I started hearing about this Bitcoin thing, because obviously that was when the markets were going up. And, there was this kind of thing at the pulse of my head, like, oh, Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin. So like, um, I didn't really know it from I didn't really understand the value of it, because at that time Bitcoin was a thing whereby it was like a cult. I don't know if you guys followed the journey of Bitcoin. So I think right back when I first encountered Bitcoin, it was kind of like this very secret society's way of like interacting in the dark web, and there was kind of almost like a stigma to it. It was almost like a cult, like, oh, Bitcoin is this kind of. It was like the dark place of certain Reddit groups, if you so to speak. So that was kind of my first experience of, I would say, kind of really hearing this sort of cryptocurrency, the term being used. Um, but I'll say it wasn't up until 2019 I started getting into it. So I made a switch from forex at the time to now starting looking at trading crypto assets at the time. So that was, luckily, fortunately for me, actually, it was right before COVID happened. So I jumped in right before the bull run of 2020. So I did quite well for myself in that year. Started trading crypto, started learning it. So I spent some time, the next year, that 2019, between 2019 and about 2021, playing around with crypto. Obviously at the time the world was at a standstill after 2020. So I think I was in second or third year of university at the time. And it was kind of put on hold. Everything was everything was like online, no lectures in person. So that really kind of enabled me to really throw myself into the world of investment management, like, trading different sort of financial instruments. And so I think in 2021 I kind of picked up development again. So I kind of really started because at the same time during my course, I started falling in love again with the whole programming and development side of things. So then I started to see the logical, like, I think the confluence, the intersection between like the development and this crypto stuff. And that was kind of what birthed my interest into Web3 and the whole blockchain space. And I started to think about how could this technology be utilized, could be taken and actually be applied for like a utility purpose, not just for the financial aspect. Yes, the financial aspect is a big aspect, but how can we use it to solve a real life problem? How can this be used, for a real life solution? So off the back of that, I would say, in a very long-winded way, that was kind of my journey and my experience to leading to this point of what this project was birthed of, as well as like my whole I'll say like experience with the blockchain, crypto, and Web3 space. So yeah, sorry for taking very long, but yeah.
It's okay. Actually, your journey was pretty amazing, and thumbs up to your dad. I'm so happy about what I'm hearing, how he took you to the conferences, and maybe he opened up your mind and your imaginations. And that's kind of a way that he kind of opened your eyes and helped you a lot. So Samuel, could you also share with us a brief one about your crypto or blockchain journey?
Okay, thank you so much. Perfect. Yeah, I'm actually Nigerian. I was given birth in Nigerian, schooled in Nigerian. Also, though I'm a student of the School of Technology in Nigeria, I'm studying statistics. I don't know if you can hear me properly.
Yeah, we can hear you properly.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm actually studying statistics here in school, though I'm in my final already. So my journey in the Web3 space, blockchain space, crypto space all started when I was done with high school. That was in 2018. Yeah, because then I was eager to make money. Though I was very young, but I was eager to make money. So I heard about Bitcoin then in 2018, but I started knowing about Bitcoin, the aspect of mining Bitcoin. This was scam though, but I just wanted to make money, like done with high school, just want to make money. So I never knew it was real. Though then Bitcoin was around 35 per Bitcoin. So I took Bitcoin serious or crypto serious back then in 2020. That was during the lockdown period when I was home, no one was going anywhere, just sitting down at home, waking up, sleeping. So I took Bitcoin very serious because then I didn't even want to learn the aspect of cryptocurrency, but I was just ready to make the money out of trading. So I met a tutor then. The guy was working with OKX. I don't think you read about OKX. It's actually a trading platform. So he was a community manager then. I was just asking him that, okay, yeah, if you could just teach me how to place trade, just to at least buy and sell, I'm good to go. Then he taught me that night. So that night I made money because I was having roughly about $20 in my wallet that same day. So I made about $5 extra. So that I started my journey in the crypto trading aspect. Then I started going myself, learning more skills, learning more trading psychology, learning a lot of things outside the trading aspect. Then I started working for some exchange as their ambassadors because back then in 2021, I remember I worked with OKX as the affiliate. I worked with UEX, Zakala and Ukraine Exchange. I also worked with FTX before the saga. That was last year. So I I knew there was more money in the space, that's the Web3 space. While I lost a lot of money from trading, that was last year. I knew there was more money in the Web3 space because I lost money. I bought my portfolio because then I was actually ready to make more money. So I was trying to gamble in the market. And something funny is that if you try to revenge a trade, it's going to take all your money. So I tried revenging, get, get my money back. So I lost a lot of money, like huge amount of money. To the extent I actually worked then. I was working because we're not in school. Here in Nigeria, we do have something called ASO strike. So I was home for like 8 months. I was working. All my salary, I was putting it back to trading just to double it. And so I was going. Even my mom got fed up of me and told me that, okay, yeah, I need to stop this for now just to gain back my mental health. So I stopped trading then. That was last year, August. I stopped trading because I wanted to focus on other aspects, other niche in the Web3 space and DeFi space. So I took up jobs, that's the Web3 jobs and DeFi jobs. Started applying to. Before then, I think I lost money from FTX because I was the ambassadors and they were paying me right in the FTX wallet because I had a token stake in their wallet. So up to today, we can't even withdraw the money because the money is gone. The trading platform also is gone. So then I even told my friend I don't think trading is real. But how will I work so hard and just one money? The money is gone. So I took another space, that's another niche in the Web3 space, that community manager. So I started helping a lot of communities in the Web3 space, a lot of DeFi community, a lot of projects to manage our community, build our community. Because I have a broad knowledge of marketing. Because basically that's what I'm doing in school. So I had a broad knowledge of marketing. I started helping communities to manage their community, build their community, at least market the project. So I was getting a lot of a lot of money from there. Then that was last year. Because I was even with the little knowledge I had in trading, I was teaching some students how to trade, but I was not trading because I don't want to lose my money again. I do tell people at this point at this point I really don't want to give my money to CZ. So it's better use my money to do better things. So I started, I started doing I started teaching people then
management.
I started teaching them community management, teaching them how to trade on Binance and the likes. So that's literally how I continued my journey in the Web3 and DeFi journey because then I was able to hunt for jobs, get more jobs up, and that's how I got to Maringo. And fortunately, at the moment, Maringo's head in marketing. So that's little about my journey. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm pretty amazed by everyone. Actually, it's like everyone always lose some money first, then they learn the hard way. So, not your keys, not your coins. Always keep your crypto in your own non-custodial non-custodial wallet. Yeah, so that was a very interesting segment just to hear about uh, the both of your journeys in the world of crypto. Mine is almost the same as yours, Samuel. So there's no point of talking about it. It's actually like a twin brother of what you went through. Yeah, except yeah, twice beaten, thrice shy. So I wanna throw some, let me say, a topic so that we talk about in relation to what we wanna talk about today, and it's on social fi. Maybe Louis, you can take us through what social fi is. You can try to demystify for us, and then we can discuss on how blockchain and Web3 tech is used to leverage on social fi and all these amazing upcoming technology.
Yes, sorry, I was finding where to unmute my mic. Yeah, so the term social fi, I think, is a term that's kind of I'm seeing more frequently actually. When it first, I would say I was, I wouldn't actually say that because we probably weren't the first to coin the term social fi. But so it's this idea of a confluence between, like integrated or combining, aspects of social media with like finance elements. Um, so it's about, you can either see it as one of two ways. It's about making finance more social or making social media more financial. So different projects have different takes on it. And particularly, it's something that we're seeing more frequently, being used particularly in the Web3 space, but it's not just unique to the Web3 space. It's something that's kind of existed for some time. So yeah, so I'll take in a very quick. Let me not drag on drag on this time, but that kind of depends on the context in which it's being used. Different projects have different kind of their way of describing social fi, what it means to them. But very simply put, is it's a confluence between social media and a fintech sort of application. So yeah.
Yeah. Would you also agree with me if I say social fi is a way of incentivizing people that use social media? For instance, recently saw Twitter, now X, kind of incentivizing people who, I'm not sure what it is, but I think people who have the most influence with their tweets, they earn some money. Then there are some apps that I use. There is an app that rewards you for moving. If you walk certain miles, you earn some tokens that you may redeem for crypto, and others pay you to learn to earn. There is move to earn. There's so many. Could that also be kind of social fi aspect, the way you say bringing finance into the social aspect?
Yes. So obviously those are just kind of like incentives. Those are just incentives. So play to earn, you see it a lot in GameFi. So that's not something that's unique to, like social fi. In GameFi, the whole genre of GameFi is, centered around like leveraging gamification or games and like reward systems to kind of incentivize players to earn, maybe even through this game, through playing these games, like earn financially, like actually financial merit through playing these games, or like earn tokens that they can later on claim for like some form of like financial compensation. So I think those terms, while that obviously could be an element, and I said different projects will have different takes on social fi. So I saw like I was seeing this different application today, which is like it's a budgeting app. So in essence, it's a budgeting app. So it's like they class the social fi. So in essence, it's like a banking app that you and your friends, you can add different friends on there. And the whole premise of this app is it's a finance app, but there's that social element where you can add friends. You guys can like commit to how much you want to save. If you guys are living together, for instance, you can like plan your budget together. So as salary comes, you guys can allocate different funds to different things, and like you guys can collectively pay for like split bills, pay for Netflix, pay for tax, all done through the app. So even that sort of thing is that app, an application like that is still considered social fi. Because like I said, different applications have different takes on it. It could be a financial app with a social element, or it could be a social element with a financial aspect attached to it. So yeah, and you see quite often this idea of like incentivizing and allowing users to monetize the infrastructures to their own kind of benefit, financial benefit and merit is also a big aspect for a lot of I'll say like unique, like driving proposition, value propositions of a lot of these projects. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Samuel, what are some of the challenges probably you faced with the traditional social media platforms that you've probably been using? I'm assuming you at one point used at least one social media platform. Do you have some challenges as maybe benefits or maybe some disadvantages?
Okay, perfect. Yeah, basically, yeah, all social medias, let me say, most social medias have the advantage and also have the disadvantages. You get, because most persons that use social media don't even know they could monetize the social experience on the platform. Most people just come on social media to watch videos, to like, to post, and the like. That, I think that's what Elon Musk just implies. Like you could earn while using the app, because I think the last tweet he made was about those with good in content marketing is going to be paying them while they use the app and the like. Because though I am not someone that is that addicted to social media just like that, I use them just once in a while to get research and the likes, because I'm kind of person that I use them not often. I don't use LinkedIn. I just started using it, let me say this year or something. So basically, I have not experienced any challenges. So just that social media is good for those who know how to use it, because I do tell myself and most of my friends do tell me to, you can't be on the social media and not getting benefit from it. So why are you still on the app? You are not getting benefit from it. So that's basically why I don't use social media that much. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have any experience or any challenges using any of the social media. Do you understand?
Yeah, I kind of figured out you're not much of a social media person from your skills that you are sharing. You are about making money, and so it's okay. But I think some some social media also has so many advantages, like you said, the monetization aspect, and the real aspect of Web3 is read, write, own. So in my opinion, I think the social media people, yes, they read, write, but somehow they don't own their content. So this is how Web3 comes about, by helping the people involved in this social media own their own creative works. And I just wanna transition to perhaps the backbone of today's podcast show, and that is on Maringo, the Maringo platform. I just wanna hear your stories and how Maringo, what inspired you guys to now start Maringo. Louis, I understand you are from a very, let me call it, rich background. Uh, by saying rich, I mean the way you your dad introduced you to Robert, and then you went to learn some coding and stuff. So yeah, please share with us what inspired you to start Maringo, and let's talk about it more.
Yes. So to address the rich thing, I would say a better word to use to describe is, I'd say, is curious.
Yeah,
I think
curious.
a good characteristic, so I would say, of any kind of like I don't like to classify myself as an entrepreneur, but any sort of I'd say like a healthy mind, I think, should exhibit some sort of level of curiosity, like a thirst or hunger for, like, look for knowledge, be it knowledge or experience. So I would say that kind of was the foundation of my journey, to be honest. Like, even so I feel there's different parts of learning. Obviously, you need to have the want to learn, and then once you've learned, it's about taking that, making sense of it, and then also putting it in practice. So I think these processes is kind of what I would say highlighted, or like enabled me to get from maybe being like a toddler, like a little kid that didn't really understand anything about the crypto, trading, development world, to kind of actually wanting to learn, actually understanding, like going out there and actually starting to learn, taking action and learning, and then more importantly, actually trying to put it in practice, what I've learned in practice. But now swiftly coming to Maringo. So I have a tendency to tell very long-winded stories, so I'm going to try to keep this one short. So initially, actually, Maringo started as like I'll say like a social enterprise, so to speak. The roots of Maringo actually stems from, I would say, um, I was very passionate about art and like creatives. I'm not an artist, by the way. But I have a very like high appreciation for like the creatives, and I feel like there's a lot of value, even though that sometimes, and I know like in a society, in a very capitalist society that we live in, a lot of people don't really understand, like people like Samuel, Samuel, who are very financially driven. They might not necessarily see the inherent value or the the I'll say the merit in art, in the form of art, like creatives, be it like music, visual arts, and even theater and the likes of. So I would like to call myself like a very avid passion, like subscriber of the art, so to speak.
Yeah.
So the background of this actually started from traveling, and that experience and that background of mine, like living in different African countries. I was very fortunate to see the different culture and the different art that exists within the continent of Africa. And one of the things that I absolutely loved was this almost the simplicity, but the complexity, and at the same time that duality, that dichotomy of the arts. Like you'd see the most beautiful artistic pieces, being made from the simplest of materials. These are African art, these street artists, they didn't have access to like libraries and banks of like resources at their disposal, like expensive stuff, but they would make the most, like I would say, like ingenious creative masterpieces from like just scrap kind of like resources, materials that were laying around. And so I don't know, I felt a sense of like responsibility, because I felt like oftentimes these artists were not giving the appreciation which I think they deserved. And obviously, being in a continent whereby we're still kind of developing, oftentimes the art is kind of something that's overlooked. And I'll say like most artists can't really. I hope it, and one of my goals was I would hope that most creatives could actually start to make a career off that. But like looking back at stereotypes, like I remember growing up, like there was a lot of pressure from parents to you need to be a lawyer, you need to be an engineer, you need to be a doctor, but no one really encouraged you to kind of pursue the artistic sides. Like I was never really artistic, so it wasn't really like a dream that I had, but like my brother was. And like it was kind of like seeing someone who, or like being in a family that was, I'll say, like appreciated art, or at least that's one thing I got to appreciate from seeing my brother create these pieces of art, and also like just the art that was all around. I wanted to kind of like to create a medium that actually enables people to come on there, like these artists, to showcase these brilliant pieces of art and be able to sell it, not just in a local scale, but like in an international scale. To give them tell their stories, but also give them the ability to actually make, because I know that we've been well traveled, and obviously at the time I was living in the UK, it was around 2000 and just about 2018 when I'd moved to the UK. I realized that there was actually a lot of like value for this kind of art that was created back then. So my initial idea for Maringo was to create this sort of marketplace almost for like African creatives, African artists, to come on there and to showcase, tell their stories, and to showcase their artworks, and to put it up like to a global audience, so they can actually tell their stories to a global market, and also hopefully get picked up and get bought for the prices that would enable these artists to be able to make like a decent, like a sufficient I'd say like sustainable like livelihood from pursuing the arts. So that was actually the foundation and inspiration of this. But at the time, I think this is around 2018. I would say I was quite young in my entrepreneurial journey, because that was a big logistical it was a big logistical kind of like nightmare for me at the time. The logistics of me not being locally, in these regions, but just, and at the time I was still trying to learning, the aspect of web development and like creating like marketplaces at the likes at the time. So, I kind of played with that idea a lot, and I had upside downs. I had the pleasure of meeting loads of different artist. But I just lacked, I wouldn't say capital, but I lacked the, this, the, I lacked a lot, like at the time, and it was quite unfortunate because I think it was a very good idea, and even till this day, one of my inspirations behind the Maringo Art Foundation, which will be launching soon, is to go back and actually pursue that. Um, but fast forward to about 2021, so that was 2018. That was the foundations. The name of the Maringo, actually, like you said, it stems from a Swahili word which translates to pride.
Yeah,
And I think that, yeah.
I was just wondering how you came about Maringo. Please go on.
So those are the deep rooted kind of histories behind inspirations behind Maringa, in essence what it first started out to be. Then fast forward about 2021, when there was like a big craze of NFTs. And so I just remembered, so this, with, like earlier when I told you about, that was like a big period where I think I'd grown myself at the time, both financially, like, technically as well. I was in a more better situated, position to be able to take on bigger projects such as this. And then I saw an opportunity here, taken from my passion of this idea that I had previously of taking African art to like a global limelight. One of the biggest things that I couldn't really facilitate at the time was the logistics of trying to sort out, how can I move the pieces of artworks from Africa to, their respective, like buyers and the likes of back then. I realized that, okay, this new craze, this new market of NFTs and the likes of presents a very amazing opportunity, because it takes away the need for that big logistical issues that was going to be a big problem, and it just all pushed it to the digital realm. So I had like light bulb moments, which kind of like enabled me to kind of pick it up again, threw myself into like learning about like I would say Web3 marketplaces, NFT marketplaces, picking up from where I left off, so to speak. That I started with there was a program. I worked very closely with my university program at the time. When I had this idea to really start developing that, and I think that, going through that, there was really supportive of me, like, the early stages of it. So the idea first of Maringo started off as a African NFT marketplace. And I had the amazing opportunity at the time, and like I met some amazing people along the lines, which, and the more I started to dive into the projects, the more the team started growing. I got to meet some really amazing people along the way. This was back in 2021 when we restarted the idea of Maringo. I think actually no, it was 2022, start of 2022, when we really restarted, like kicked it off properly. And then, going from African NFT marketplace, we started sort of like morphing, because we realized that actually it would be amazing if we had like a social element of it, because we wanted to give people a medium for like to connect, to tell their stories, to showcase their works, their creative works and the likes of. And so obviously then we kind of realized that that goes hand in hand with like the social side of things. So, those three things, those marketplace, the commerce aspect of things, the social aspect of things, and then also the ability for people to monetize this creative social aspect of things. Those were those foundations of what kind of morphed and transitioned into the Maringo we know and love today. So, our focus is still very much around and centered around, like how can we enable like greater social connectivity, particularly just for everyone, but, still targeting creatives, content creators as well, who are going to be the ones driving the platform. And, enable, through that we can hopefully facilitate financial empowerment and financial inclusion through our application. So again, without going too long on a tangent, that was kind of the progress, and I'll say the journey to kind of Maringo and what it is today. So yeah.
Uh-huh. I'll come back to you, and then actually I'd like you to kind of just talk how different Maringo is to something like OpenSea, because from I have gathered that Maringo kind of provides a platform where artists can actually identify their works and much more. So I would just like to understand how different you're doing it from stuff like OpenSea and other marketplaces for artists. Samuel, you may correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you seem very radical on projects right now after the previous backlashes. So why Maringo? What are the values that you saw in Maringo that kind of made you want to work together with Louis to spearhead this project? What are some of the things that you probably foreseen that Maringo will make better? Not
Okay,
just for
perfect.
Africa, but the whole world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So literally, I met Maringo early this year, just January. I think I met someone that was working for them. Yeah. Yeah. I actually saw their banner. They were looking for a community manager. They were hiring. That was early this year, January. So I applied out of. Oh, then I was looking for jobs. Like I said earlier on, Web3
Yeah.
jobs and DeFi jobs. So I applied in. Luckily, I was interviewed and I started working with Maringo. That's February because I saw something, the value for them creating a wallet because I told you part of my journey that I was into crypto trading. So I noticed time I searched about them, I noticed they were building something like a wallet where you could exchange your token, where you could buy and sell your coin. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I also saw it in the roadmap that they'll be having a token soon and something about crypto trading. I'm really in love with it. Anything relating to cryptocurrency, anything relating to trading, actually very much interested to get more idea on it. Also, I love the fact that Maringo is ready to monetize. Users can monetize the social experience because most persons, okay, yeah, and thank God I'm in Nigerian. Nigeria economy, let me say these days, let me just say as of today, Nigeria economy is kind of bad. If you know what Nigerians are facing at the moment, you wouldn't want to allow your family member or anybody to stay in Nigeria or live in Nigeria anymore because it gets worse day by day. So all those things are what Nigeria is using, like they're looking for how they could eradicate poverty from their system. And the fact that Maringo is bringing it that okay, yeah, you could now use the social media because a lot of people burn their data, burn subscription just to come on WhatsApp, just to come on WhatsApp to post, just to come on Instagram and everything Instagram, Discord, Telegram, and even Binance are trying to achieve. I think in our matter that's in Maringo. So all these things are what young ones are after. They're ready to monetize. They don't want to even waste their money or buy data. And again, the journey have not been easy though because we started Maringo like the growth has been so rapid because we started. That I joined Maringo basically. I joined as a community manager, and then we haven't gotten an app like a solid app then. But I thank God for today that users can use our app. They could post, they could like, they could comment, they could even post videos and other stuff on the app. So it has been good and it has been the growth of everyone's effort on the team. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I knew you were very radical. So what you talked about are very important to someone who is looking to use an app, platform, or a protocol or anything. Because I think the first thing that usually someone needs to do is do a proper background check and see if it's really viable. I recently talked to someone. I'm not sure. I can't remember who it was, but I think it was a podcast, and he iterated to me that right now people are looking for value for value. What value are you bringing to me so that I can also offer a certain type of value to you? And from your explanation, uh, you clearly explained how Maringo is bringing a lot of value to you, especially in the bad states that your economy is at, and how Maringo is giving back to the people. Um, I said I'll come back to you, Louis. I was just doing some calculations in my head. when you said your dad took you for the conference in 2013, I think you said you were 10 years old. So right now, probably about 22 or 23 years. And I'm pretty amazed at the challenge at the same time. And yeah, so how is Maringo, how is it aiming to leverage blockchain tech to now create a seamless and inclusive platform that now addresses the challenges of financial inclusivity and social connectivity in Africa? Just to tie it up with how I asked you how different it is from other platforms like OpenSea and
Yes. So I am a big. So I'll start with something rather controversial. I'm a big advocate for Web3. However, I am also a very big skeptic of Web3 projects. I'll say that again. I'm a very big advocate for Web3, but I'm also a very, very big skeptic of Web3 projects. The reason why I say that is because I feel like my background, actually, I'm an engineer. I did a mechanical engineering in university. So, if you know anything about engineers are very logical people. We like to, we see ones and zeros, in essence, we see problems and we fix problems. We don't like long talk. I like long talk, but normally engineers don't really like long talk. So, and this is kind of where I feel like, pardon my language, am I allowed to swear? Like on your podcast? It's okay if I can't, but I don't like boo, whatever you know what called, what I mean. Like I don't like bullshit. Like I don't like a lot of projects. I don't like the fact that a lot of projects that I can often tell, some projects that are just like, I'm just like, what is, besides just being, like the tag of like Web3, I feel like although there is a lot of utility, and this is what I kind of spoke about early, although there's a lot of utility that, like the technology, as an enthusiast of Web3, I actually understand, like I love what the technology produce, like it presents, and like the ability for it to solve real life problems, I think is fantastic. However, one of the things that I kept running into with a lot of projects, the USP, after realizing that, we were kind of doing the same, I had to go back on our pitch deck and almost like take away every sort of Web3 mention of any sort of mention of decentralization. I was that like pissed off with the whole market as a whole that I had to went back and remove all of this, because I was like, apart from just this tag of it being Web3, what are we actually solving? Like, we can't just be advertising that, oh yeah, we're just a Web3 social media. Do you understand? Because what in essence, what is that? Most people don't even know what Web3 is. Like, it's only like people in the Web3 space that are Web3. And, I think where I was really, one of the I think my tipping points was, I saw mind you, I'm someone who is like also like quite well competent in from a technical standpoint. Yeah. But it was this project that was advertising itself to be like a social media platform, like a decentralized social media platform, Web3 platform, social media platform. And then like I come on to use this platform and I have to read almost like a 12-page documentation to utilize a social media platform. And I was like, this is what is wrong with kind of Web3, is that like, obviously there's not going to be any sort of mass adoption with projects such as these that are just kind of like overcomplicating things and making things more complex than it needs to be. Because at the essence of it, why do we visit social media? We come there to share our moments, to connect with one another in the fundamental sort of things. These are kind of this is why social media is around. We don't come here to read 12-page documentations just to be able to kind of utilize some sort of infrastructure that claims to be like like the future of or sort of thing. So like I like to see things for what they truly are, and like if there's merit, if there's utility, like real utility actually being solved, and if at like so the concept of like I was speaking to an investor, like actually like I think 6 months ago, and I was talking about how like, with Maringo, we're aiming to kind of like put the power of privacy back into the people's hands, like allowing people to actually have privacy, take ownership of their data and everything. And then he's like, he's not being funny. Yeah. He's like, every single time I go to a new website and he asks me do you want cookies? like, yes, even I know what cookies are. Like, I know that the cookies means that they, it's allowing them to be able to kind of like track my operations on the web and everything like that. But like, I just don't care. And I think this was kind of like a tipping point for me, because it's like, I know a lot. It's something that a lot of people will kind of like. We say yes, we want our privacy, we want our ownership, we want ownership. And I'm again, like I said, I'm a big advocate for these things. But at the same time, what if people if it means that people are still using platforms like Instagram, even though like Instagram Meta is one of the biggest farmers of people's like privacy and data. If it means that people are still using that, it means that people, yes, I understand that the issue of like privacy, the issue of ownership is a big part, but at the other part of it, like the ability to monetize something is actually the greater value of it. So let me tell you something. If me and Sam will both offer you the same product, yeah, the same capability to do the same things on the same product, however, one is paying you and is making you earn passively, and the other isn't. Like, judging off the same merit that the experience is the same, which one are you gonna choose? It's a no-brainer. You're gonna choose the one that puts money in your pocket. Exactly. So, in a very simple way, like, and it's I have a bit of a chip on my not chip on my shoulder, but I have a bit like of sour taste in my mouth because of Elon Musk. Because I started preaching this before Elon Musk took over Meta, before he took over Twitter. Like, this was kind of like a big thing I was kind of talking about, how I did the math, and it's like social media is actually making so much money. Yeah. And if social media platforms are to reduce their spendings, like on operations, like without having like super giga mega structure facilities for like, all the kind of spending that they're doing, just to kind of justify why they're doing what they're doing, and actually was to democratize things a little bit, like pay a bit of the money they're earning back to the users, this would be a massive actual thing. And lo and behold, this is one of the things that obviously Elon Musk came on Twitter and started saying. But besides the point, I think there's a whole, that's just kind of like, I'll say the beginning. That's just the first, like the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, in terms of like value proposition of what social media could actually be. Like I have like Elon Musk right now. I think he's almost like, he's a visionary, and a lot of people, and I used to admire him as well. But the more I started to get into him, I still love him, but like I feel like he's kind of like, he's trying really hard to be that term where someone is trying too hard to fit in with the cool kids. I feel like there's a little bit like that. Do you know what I mean? I feel like he's trying really hard to like be very likable, like to fit in with the young people at the moment. So I don't know. Hopefully Elon Musk doesn't hear this podcast, but
I'm hoping he does someday.
Elon Musk, yeah, it's all love. It's all love. But yeah. So that kind of was, like, aside from everything, in terms of the utility. And the other thing I would say is, we're starting to notice a rise of like nationalism, like almost, I think 2020, like since then, like global, it's a global trend. I think there's less of a push for globalization, and I'll tell you why. I think more and more recently, more and more people, like countries, regions, are starting to understand that actually, like they say, you need to help yourself first before you help everyone else, and like you need to protect your best interests first before you start helping interests of other people. Like, whether you agree with this or not, like I feel like this is something that on a global scale is starting to be like noticed, and we're starting to see more and more people, like companies, rise up for like not nationalistic kind of ideals, where it's like, I believe that as a continent of Africa, one of the most like resource rich and abundant, like not just in materials, but also human capital. Like, Africans produce some of the most brilliant, like smartest, amazing kind of people there is. Like, most of the things that we get, or most of the things that we utilize, is stems from like from people outside here. And there's almost kind of like I wouldn't say like a maltreatment, or like a prejudice that's felt towards the continent of Africa, and it's almost like, oh, Africa is this, when seen on a global scale. But I have a very strong opinion against that. And as someone who I like to give my experience as this, and this is something I've spoken of at different events. It's like I learned to be a minority. Like that's kind of like a very weird way to look at it, in the sense that like being born in Nigeria, whereby like Nigeria's majority, like blacks, and you go to Kenya, and like Kenya, you start to see, because I'm like Kenya, you start to see a lot. And obviously I'm not here to start any sort of racial divide. I think there's nothing like that. But like what I'm trying to say with my experience is that like I had to learn to like, and I like it's an experience that I think for me was very like enlightening. Because coming from somewhere which everyone looked like me, to and no one really saw my color as anything of a differentiator. Going to Kenya, I started to obviously have classrooms, and I think Kenya is amazing. And then you go to South Africa, and then you start to become more aware of it, that okay, like people are starting to treat you a bit different, not because of like my character or anything, but because of the color of my skin. And then obviously here in the UK, you're actually a minority, and you have all the prejudice that comes with being a minority. I've been really fortunate in terms of in my background, we're not having to face the full extent of like prejudice and like racism, and a lot of negative things that come to that. But therein within itself, you hear terms like, oh, you're really smart. Some of these experiences are stuff that I've had to face, where it's like, oh, you're really smart for a black guy. And it's like, what do you mean by that? Do you know what I mean? It's like, do you not think, firstly, like, it's almost like, wait a minute. Like, what does this mean? Like, what is this? Where does it stem from? Sort of things. So like, I don't know. Part of that actually kind of gets to me, in the sense that I feel like as a continent, we should strive. Obviously, I'm one for like unity, and I'm not trying to incite any sort of like divides between any sort of group. I think everyone is fantastic, and everyone's lovely. In fact, my girlfriend is a Mzungu. But I feel like I feel like as a continent, we definitely should strive for having things that like I think patronizing things that are built by us, for us. And so, the idea of like a social media application that is, if you look at China have like a whole infrastructure. They have their own Google, they have their own Facebook, they have their own infrastructure. Do you understand? And I think that it's only fair that, as a continent, as Africa, as we're starting to progress technologically, we should adopt like a big push for actually like patronizing, things that are, like entrepreneurs, like all sorts of businesses that are that stemming and like aiming to focus on this kind of market. So yeah, sorry again, I go on my tangents, but we're gonna be here for a long time with you.
Experience. It seems you have so much to share with us. Actually, what we are talking about, before I came to this call, I was in a Twitter space. It's usually called Open Weekly, and they were actually talking about almost the same thing as you're iterating right now. Most of them were builders, and African builders. There's one who has built an exchange.
Yeah.
I was with the metagrapher, you know him well.
Yeah.
In the metaverse. So they were saying they want more Africans to actually build some stuff for Africa, for solutions in Africa. But for me, personally, I usually don't like that narrative for Africa. I want the world to be like a global village. So when you're building something, just build it for every human. It doesn't matter your color or race.
Yeah.
For me personally, I like the global village narrative than the Africa or for the West, for the East. For me, that's on me. I don't know about you, Samuel. And perhaps one of you can also take us through some of the future developments that we should expect from Maringo, and and some collaborations that you've also done. I know you just started recently, but I'm sure you have some future plans and you have some collabs already. I'd be happy to collab though.
Yes, no, definitely. So obviously, in terms of features on the roadmap, we have plenty. There's plentiful that we're actually working on the app, and the journey so far that it's been. If you come in the app like probably 2 months ago, the kind of experience you have then versus if you come in the app now, we've progressed a lot, and something that it's kudos to our development team, and under new guidance of our new CTO as well. I think it's been fantastic, and it's been going at a very much quicker rate. So you can even imagine some of the amazing things, obviously some of which that I can't disclose, but is, this idea of a super app, this socialify super app, rivaling the likes of like WeChat and, all of the, capabilities. But, so I think this is kind of a lot of the things we're going to like bring it on iteratively. And it's kind of like, is why we're focusing a lot, emphasis right now. Even though we're still early, the app is still very early. I think we're probably around 2 months, like actually since we launched the beta. So it's very early, like actually started like making it open to public, like not even like working on it. We rushed, we did like a little prototype of some things. Then we started testing. So we're still very much in the early stage and still iterating and like building things. And the reason why we've done that is, we want the community to be as involved as possible in our development like our development progress, because we don't just want to go behind the scenes and develop this app that no one really gives any sort of like opinion, and no one has any sort of like say in it, and just coming to dump it on people and say, okay, now 3, 2, 1, use this. We want to get people to actually influence and shape how we go about. Like, I think one of the nicest things, one of the nicer posts we saw in the app today was that one of our users actually, like giving his honest feedback and actually stating us what he would like to see on the app. And, these for us is kind of like a big, like, this is very, I think it was a big deal to us, because, it's like, we want to build an app, like a product that is for the users. So receiving this feedback, even criticisms, I think we take it very, very, like happily, because I think we can proudly say that, as the app is evolving, we're getting more and more refined for the use case that we're actually trying to build within. But yeah, no, definitely going back to what you say in terms of the roadmap for features, there's so many things planned. And even right now, we're about to undergo our first pre-seed raise, which is kind of been busy. So we've kind of firing out all cylinders, and hopefully, once we're able to, like close that, expect to see even more, kind of like activity all around the gaff. I hinted at the idea of the Maringo Al Foundation. That's something that I'm very passionate about, and being one of the driving force and inspirations behind Maringo is something that I'd want to obviously bring back into it, like having like a scholarship program that kind of funds like different artists, to learn about the art, and also like to promote them, to really like push forward this artistic form, and having Maringo as that platform to showcase and be able to monetize their art and build off careers off being artists. I think for me that was actually like a very big kind of like a goal of mine, like apart from just like a little side quest, but like it's something I'm quite also very passionate about. And more than just on the app, I think as a project, as a business, as a community, we're very much like we're all kind of really big on driving positive social impact. How can we better the lives of people in the African continent? How can we upskill people? How can we participate in different community events? How can we support different communities? So these are the core ethos. This is the core like missions of kind of, aside from just this app platform that everyone can come and use and get value from that. How can we make significant positive change within the continent as a whole, so that by the time this is all said and done, at least we'll leave the place a bit better than we found it, and we can proudly say that we've done our own part in actually pushing things for the better. So yeah, so that's kind of some of the few things that I'll say that is in the works, and some of our goals, dreams, and aspirations behind the Maringo project. So yeah.
I think the conversation is pretty amazing, and as we were speaking, I was actually downloading the app because previously it wasn't still available. Now it's available. And just to close this conversation, I'd like probably Samuel, as now the community manager, to share with us the social media handles and where we can reach Maringo and yeah, and probably the final words, what kind of collabs you're looking forward to. Probably just 1 minute, then we end this show so that we can have another
Sure.
conversation next
Okay,
episode.
yeah, perfect. So I'll drop in the handles or our socials on WhatsApp channel right now. So you could follow us on Twitter and all platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, and also you could join our Telegram community. Okay, so basically, Maringo just launched our campaign in Kenya. I don't think you've seen it yet. So we're reaching out to communities to partner with in Kenya. If you have any or so, you can reach us to us also because we're trying to target the Kenyan market, Nigerian market, and South Africa market in the nearest future. Whereas the African needs to adapt the Maringo app, then we could go to sort of Europe, other countries in the continent. Hope you understand. So basically, that's what we're looking at the moment. We're open for partnership with any sort of communities who could help us promote and push us in marketing. Like this stage we had last 2 months was kind of bad, but now we thank God for growth because we've achieved a lot. Though this is just the beginning. Okay, at the moment we have about 2,400 users on the app, so it's still the okay. Okay, yeah, so though it's still on the beta phase, we're still testing the app though because the app was launched 2 months ago and now we have about 2,400 on the app already. So, yeah, that's basically what we looking forward. Yeah, are you there?
Yeah, no, sorry about that. So yeah, so what I was saying was regarding the fact that so the partnerships and collaborations that we're speaking of and looking out for is not always, has to be tech related. I said we currently have something in the works with a dance group that puts on like dance classes, and they're looking to, we're sponsoring them to put on this dance class coming soon, where people will be invited, handed out like merchandise of Maringo, tell them about the project, and also like hopefully document the whole thing and share it on the Maringo app. So our goal is obviously to start like doing more and more events like this where we can actually start creating meaningful, positive engagement and impact within the communities. Just not within not only limited to the tech realm. Just everything outside of that. So we're always on the lookout for exciting and possible like potential partnerships and collaborations. So yeah.
Yeah, there you have it, guys. I think Louis and Samuel have been pretty amazing, and this conversation was so much insightful. I'm grateful for everything that you've shared with us, and I'm looking forward to the dance classes and all those kinds of events that are not tech related, because I think uh, in the world of, I think we're almost 7 billion people, and not everyone is techy. So Maringo actually will offer more than just tech stuff. So we're looking forward to that. And yeah, I'll drop all your social media handles in the episode description notes so that we can know how to reach you people and take part in everything that you have to offer for us. So that was all for this episode, and I'm looking forward to hosting you in the next episode. So remember, I'll end it with my very famous quote: "Do your own research, and none of this always is a financial advice." So let's go, Maringo. I'm looking forward to to enjoying or rather experiencing your social media app. Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh yeah, thanks you so
I
much.
forgot to Are you coming for the Africa Metaverse Summit or the Eid Safari? It would be another opportunity to come back to Kenya after so many years.
Yes, to be fair, I was meant to come. I think was it this year? I think maybe was it at the start of this year? Was it last year? There was an African Tech Summit in Kenya last year. I think that's what it was. The Tech Summit. I was meant to be there in Nairobi last year, if I remember. Was it this year, start of this year, last year? I'm not sure. I was meant to be there, but when is the one this year?
I'll share the dates. I'll share the dates with you people.
Yes, please do. Please do.
Goodbye.
It'll be something.
Have a nice evening from your side, and for me it's good night.
Yeah, thanks again for having us. All the best. Cheers. Bye.